Hello, beautiful souls. I just wanted to share an experience that I just had, and I want to share it while it's still fresh in my mind. Where I live in the forest, it's very shady around the house that I live in, and so I've rented space at a community garden that's 2 kilometers from my home. And so today I decided to walk down there to water my garden and see how everything was doing. And when I was coming back, there was a machine that was cutting the growth along the side of the road. So any small trees or anything that's been growing close to the edge of the road, this machine was cutting that down. And when I was walking back, there were some fairly big branches that were left right on the side of the road. So I was picking them up just so that they may not blow onto the road or cause a problem for drivers, and throwing them off to the side. And then I came upon some cedar, and I had the idea that I would take some of this cedar home to dry for smudging, because I don't like to cut branches off the trees. So this was freshly cut, a perfect opportunity for me to take home some cedar and dry it for some smudge. And so I'm walking along holding these few branches of cedar, and as I'm walking along, my mind starts going into some really negative thinking. What the heck is going on? I don't usually get caught in this kind of fearful thinking. And I started saying a mantra that I really like. I believe it's from Saint Germain. And this mantra is, I am the monad. I am the light divine. I am love. I am will. I am fixed design. And I said that a couple of times. I am the monad. I am the light divine. I am love. I am will. And then I realized, oh, you're holding cedar, and cedar cleanses. And I had even asked the cedar, like that was my intention when I picked it up, that I was going to take it home for smudging, which we use for cleansing. And I thought, could this cedar be cleansing some of these thoughts that are in my subconscious? And I realized that that is exactly what was happening, that this cedar was cleansing this sort of sexual predation that is actually in the consciousness of humanity. And so I looked at the cedar and got affirmation that this was what was happening. So I let the cedar go. I threw it to the side of the road, and I thanked it for clearing and bringing this up. And then after I tossed it to the side of the road, I thought, well, I should make sure that those thought forms get transformed and transmuted. And so I asked for that to happen, and I immediately sensed from this cedar that, of course, that's going to happen. There's no worries. And it said all the cedar trees that are required to help it clear that energy will assist in doing that clearing. And as soon as this came to me, and I feel like it was the mantra that kind of got me out of that negative thinking and allowed me to settle in and receive that wisdom from the cedar. And I realized that the way that fear works is that it really allows us to go on these rants. And I know we all do this. We all, have these thoughts if we're worried about something. For example, if your child has just learned to drive not long ago and they have the car and they're half an hour late, immediately we begin to worry and we make up all these stories. And I realized that that's what fear does. And every thought we have is creating on some level. So those thought forms that I was bringing forward when I was on my walk, those are little bubbles of thought forms that are floating out there somewhere. And when I realized that, I decided to also put out thought forms of everyone who was driving by me, was really friendly and would wave at me, and that I felt really safe, and it was like they were neighbors, and even though I didn't know them personally, I could just sense kindness from all of them, and felt that if I needed any help, somebody would stop and help me. So I turned those thought forms around to create some positive energy that I was putting out there. But as a certified hypnotherapist, I know that we create with our imagination, in reality, the glands in our brain are actually projecting what we see as our reality, and then we interpret it with our eyes, bring it back, and our mind interprets it, and we have a feeling in our body from it, and that creates an emotional response from it. But we're creating all of it from our beliefs. And so I'm just bringing this up so we can be really aware, for one thing, of how powerful nature is in supporting us and helping us clear. We can ask trees to do this. Trees are powerful for helping us cleanse energy that's in our body. For example, I lived near a power line at one place where I lived, and the trees would clear that energy out of my body. They'll clear thought patterns out of our body. So we can use the trees and use nature to help us cleanse and purify, and also to be very aware of our thoughts. When we're worrying, we can really choose to trust that our child got delayed at the grocery store and they left the phone in the car so they couldn't let us know and everything's perfectly okay. Or we can choose to go into worry and almost create that reality. And that's what I realized, that fear has been an energy that's kept humanity suppressed for so long. And every time we allow ourselves to fall into fearful thoughts and allow our imaginations to go on a rant, creating more fear and projecting more of that into the world, we're really allowing ourselves to be suppressed even longer. And it's time for us to rise up and become empowered and claim back everything that we are, and claim back our birthright to create our lives in a place of peace and abundance and joy. And so every time we choose differently, we are recreating our own lives, and we're putting a different energy into the world so that so many other people's lives are going to be affected by that positive energy as well. So just like if someone goes into hypnosis, and for example, one of my hypnosis clients played in a band and he was an excellent musician, and when he was home practicing, he could get a song in one try and he would have it down. And then even when he got with his own band members who were friends of his, he would clam up, he would forget the song. And he came to me because he was getting really frustrated with that, because he knew he was a really good musician, but whenever he was in front of anyone else, he just couldn't bring that forward. And we went back into his childhood and back to a time when he was starting to learn to play instruments and he was in band. And what came out was that all the instruments that he would have liked to have played were taken. And he ended up, I think it was the bass or a tuba, some big instrument that he ended up having to play. It was really difficult to learn. It was an awkward instrument, and people made fun of him and teased him. And so when we changed that memory, he came back again to tell me that that did the trick. He was able to then go out and play in front of people and not have the same inhibitions that he had before. And all we did was go back in the imagination, you could say, in this state of hypnosis, change that event and remove that event that was negative and change it into a positive, and then his life outcome was different. So that's a very good example of how where we allow our imagination to go when we're having thoughts and they're getting away on us and we're moving out of the present moment, how much impact that can have on our lives. So if you want to see your life turn around, if you want to see more positivity in your life, and if you want to overcome fears that you have in your life, it's to the point I've been getting messages clearly lately that clearing is required, especially in the beginning when we're just starting to do this work. If we have a lot of subconscious beliefs that are limiting us, it's really important to go into those beliefs, see what they are, allow them to come to the surface and to release them. And after you've done that work, for example, I have been doing that work since 2012. It's now 2019. So I've been doing that work intensely for many years. And along with that, we're in a different vibrational energy now because the vibration of the earth keeps increasing. The Schumann resonance of the earth, which is the vibration of the earth, keeps going up in phenomenal numbers. And so we're in a higher vibration. And so it gets to the point where the clearing is done, and then we have to consciously choose how we are allowing our thoughts to create, what we are allowing our thoughts to create. So in every moment, we make a choice as to how we're going to respond to that moment. So for example, my car recently broke down, and fortunately I was almost close to my daughters where I was going visiting, and so I could call them to come and get me. But the consequence was I'm without a car right now. And you know, I could go two ways with that. I could make that a really big deal and make it a problem, and instead I decided to see what the universe was showing me with that and see the benefit of that, and it's amazing. I had always equated a car with freedom, and I got the sense that not having a car for this while until I find another car that I want will actually bring me more freedom, and the truth of that is happening. I'm seeing that. So it's all because of the way I responded from my car breaking down. I immediately thought, okay, what does the universe want me to know about this? What is the benefit of this for me? I immediately saw what that was. It's for me to focus more on this kind of work and the work that I love to do. And I jumped right into that, and I'm amazed at how things are unfolding in favor of what I truly would love to be doing, as opposed to the job that I had 3 days a week that I didn't really enjoy doing, but felt like I had to do it. And the message from my car breaking down and being without a car for a little while is, can I really believe that things will open up for me if I just embrace doing what I love to do? And I jumped in with a big yes, and that's exactly what I'm seeing. But I'm sure you can see how that could have gone a different way if I freaked out and got upset because I didn't have a way to get out and get the new car that I wanted to get and all of that. It could go either way. So in every moment, if we can really believe and know and trust that life is always supporting us, hardships often, well, I believe they are almost all the time, showing us that our soul is pushing us in a direction that we're not going to go willingly. So then we have to experience some kind of hardship to get us to go there. But it's not really a hardship. It's our soul wanting to evolve. It's our soul wanting to lead us in a direction that will serve our soul's purpose in a higher way. And if we don't get the little hints and the nudges, then it takes something a bit stronger for us to do that. And this piece around fear is often what holds us back. We fear the negative outcome instead of trusting that there could be a positive outcome. And if we just look for the positive, be grateful for whatever it is that has happened in our lives, then we will find that positive outcome. So I just wanted to share that today, and to share that experience of how quickly that cedar tree started. It was like it was almost pulling things out of me to be cleared. And it was when I said that mantra, I am the monad, I am the light divine, I am love, I am will. I like to change it and say I am creator's design. Something about that shifted the energy, and then I was able to see what was happening and stop that cycle, and to give thanks to the cedar for its great ability to clear. And I really do feel like it was a gift for all of humanity, for everywhere in our mass consciousness where this sexual predation energy has been. And we see a lot of that coming to the surface now. A lot more charges happening, and people in high positions being charged, because it's time for this energy to be cleansed and purified on the earth. And I feel that that's what was happening today as I was in this spinning cycle of my mind making up this story. So be aware of your thoughts, turn them into positive, and if you feel like you need support, go and speak to a tree. And I just want to show you my book, Conversations with a Tree. I do. Check below for the link for Conversations with a Tree so that you can learn all the beautiful messages that came from the trees that are supporting us at this time. The biggest message is to get back to our true nature through nature. So sending lots of love. Thanks for being present. And go ahead and like and share and press the bell if you'd like to receive more messages like this. And sending lots of love.